Hello YouTube, it's Chrome Freak. And I'm finally going to do a video for you Nashings on the M1 Garand. Finally, this video is for Nashings. The M1 Garand, the finest battle implement ever devised, says George C. Patton. Designed by John Garand, a Canadian citizen living in America. The M1 Garand saved the world. It's an awesome rifle. 5.4 million of these rifles were made. It replaced the M1903 in 1936. It was the first semi-automatic rifle ever given to a standing army of any country in history, and it is truly the rifle that saved the world. It actually is loaded. You load it with an M block. This is a true clip now. This is an empty M block clip right here. Here's one that's full to hold 8 rounds of 30-06. And what's neat is when this thing gets ejected, it's got a metallic ping, ping. I mean, that sound right there. Anybody who's been around M1 Garands or know M1 Garands knows what that sound is. And upon your last shot, it'll come shooting out of the gun. You'll hear that ping when it comes out of the gun. You'll also hear the ping when it hits the ground. And you hear these stories of our soldiers. At first, it was a disadvantage to them that that sound, the enemy soldiers would know he's out of ammo, and they'd have the jump on our guys. Well, our guys kind of turned it around on them, would carry these empties with them and toss them out on the ground, and when the enemy thought they were empty, they'd jump up and pow, 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 and you know the end there. Anyway, the Joint Chiefs of Staff of our military took it seriously enough that, I can't remember the name of the place, but I'm going to get it for you right here in 1 second. Aberdeen Proving Grounds, I don't know why I couldn't remember that. They were actually testing plastic M block clips, but they were never adopted. Anyway, like I said, this gun replaced the 1903, the M1903 in 1936, and itself was replaced by the M14 in 1957. This gun, the M1 Garand, was used in large numbers all the way to 1963 and to some extent to 66. It was the main battle rifle of World War II and Korea. This gun liberated the world. It saved it from the likes of Hitler. Thank God. It's a neat gun. Let me give you the stats. There's some stats I know by heart. I think the overall length of the gun is 43.5, 43.6 inches. It's got a 24-inch barrel. It weighs anywhere between 9.5 pounds and 10.2 pounds, depending on what type of wood was used for your stock. It's got a muzzle velocity of 2,800 foot a second with a 150 grain bullet. There was one other stat I wanted to talk to you about. It's got an aperture sight, which is almost like a ghost ring. That's what I call it. I still call it a ghost ring sight. By the way, it's empty, as you can see. I call it a ghost ring sight. And it's almost like a butterfly front sight, just like the M1 carbine, and you just get a really pretty sight picture with it. You got to be very careful when loading this rifle, or you're going to get what's called a Garand thumb. And what it is when you push the follower down, it's going to go ahead and release the slide. Safe direction, pull the trigger. Well, when you load it, you got to make sure you pull that slide all the way back. I mean all the way till you can't go no more in. It's locked. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. We're going to be very safe and careful in here. It's pointing in a very safe direction. There's nothing over there. I'm not going to load one into the pipe though, but I am going to show you how to load this. I'm going to keep my finger here as a safety because I've been bit before and I don't want to get bit again. So you push it down, it will actually lock in there against the first round or the clip itself. You just give it a little bump and it's going to hammer it on home. You can manually take the clip out. There's a release button on the other side of the rifle, and it's going to pop right out, just like that. Nothing in the chamber still. If you look at this particular rifle right here, I look down the barrel, I put a light in the barrel. This thing doesn't even look like it's ever been shot. Now, I put probably 400 or 500 rounds through it myself. This barrel looks as clean, it looks brand new. I can't even tell you, it's beautiful. These guns here were brought back. Unfortunately, hundreds and thousands of these were destroyed after World War II, between World War II and Korea, melted down to scrap metal, and the wood just scrapped, and that's a shame. Thank God we had given hundreds of thousands of these guns to over 25 different countries as military aid or gifts to their standing armies. And thank God we did, and we were able to get a lot of them back. And this is one of them. And when they were brought back, a lot of these guns were broke down and put into parts bins and then reassembled. It's hard to find one that's going to have matching numbers. But what they'll do is they'll get them closely to the years. On this particular rifle right here, you're going to find on the barrel date's right there. It's April of 1945, made by Springfield Armory to have the SA on it. You also have the serial number right back here on the gun. You break it down, every part. Your trigger assembly's got a number on it. The slide has a number on it. The barrel's got a number on it. The receiver's got a number on it. Everything on this gun has a serial number. Unfortunately, none of them match, but like I said, the dates do coincide with each other. At least they did that much. The sighting on this, what you do to sight this in, it's got a little locking lug here. You're going to loosen that little locking lug up, and on this side of the rifle, you hear it clicking. That's going to give you elevation, and on the same side that the locking lug is, in little increments you're going to turn. That's going to give you your windage, your right and your left. When you get to where you're sighted in and you're zeroed, you're going to go ahead and you're going to screw that down all the way tight and latch it. But I just wanted to give you guys a picture of this gun. Also in the back, it's got a little storage compartment, just like the M1 carbine. You put your cleaning kit in there and whatnot, and unfortunately I don't have one for this rifle. Now the sling here is supposed to be an original World War II sling that I did get from a gun show. I didn't get it with the rifle when I purchased it. The bayonet, let me show you what it looks like with the bayonet on, because it's really neat. It locks on there nice and tight, and tell me this don't look intimidating. I mean, this is just one bad looking dude right here, I gotta tell you. And because of the weight, it weighs so much, shooting it is an absolute pleasure and a joy. The scabbard is actually a Danish 10 scabbard, and it's got the crown marking on it. I think this is a reproduction bayonet here, because it doesn't have the serial number, and it also does not have the date. It's got United Fork and Hose markings on it, and the United States markings, which look authentic, but it does not have the serial number or the date, which leads me to believe that it's not a true, but it feels good. It's a solid bayonet. It's a great bayonet, and it'll do the job, believe me on that. In 1939, Springfield Armory was producing about 100 of these a day. By 1941, they were up to 600 a day. But by the end of 41, they had produced enough of these rifles for our Army and our Marines. And that's who these rifles were for, was for the Army and the Marines. There's a couple other little stats I wanted to tell you guys about this. Originally, this was made for the 7mm round. And the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the time, we had such a stockpile of 30-06 rounds from the M1903 that they told Garand to make this in a 30-06 round, and he already had it designed and on paper. So it worked out great for him and for us. This is probably the greatest gun in history. It saved the world, like I said, from the likes of Hitler. Thank God. It's a beautiful rifle. The soldiers carried this right here. This went around their waist. 5 on each side. Total of 40 rounds in M-block clips were popped in. They were full, ready to go. And like I said, there's stories of them carrying empties that they would throw on the ground. That's my ringer letting us know we're about out of time. I'm sorry if this review is not as good as I'd like it to be. I'm very tired. I've been working a lot of hours, and my memory right now is shot. I need some sleep is what I need. Anyway, I'm actually interested, believe it or not, in selling this rifle or trading this rifle. I'd like to get something newer. I was into the collecting of the World War II and rifles and all that, and I got the M1 carbine also, and I got some other World War II stuff, but I don't know. I think I want to get some more modern weapons now, and I know there's guys out there who would appreciate it. So if you know anybody interested, lives in the area or not, anything like that, I'm interested in maybe a trade or a flat out sell on it. I think I got 300 or 400 rounds of 30-06 ammo I'll throw in. I got 40 or 50 M-block clips, and I'll even let the bayonet and a scabbard go with it too. So if anybody's interested, just let me know. It's a beautiful rifle, and I'll show it in more detail because I'm going to do another video, not tonight, probably in a couple days. We're going to go ahead and field strip it and put it together because everybody knows that I love tinkering with guns and I love field stripping them all. And so we're going to do this. We're going to strip this one all the way down and put it back together. So we'll get into a more detailed look where I could show you everything a little bit better and you could see it. I just wanted to give you an idea of the M1 Garand, safe direction, and what a beautiful gun it is. And it is the gun that saved the world. Thank you for watching. I thank all my new subscribers. Once again, I apologize if this video isn't up to par. I am tired. PM me, comments, I love them, and I thank you. Peace out.